Hi there, welcome on Zero Absolute. I'm re-recording this tutorial about how to make a video projection simulation on Octane and 3ds Max, because I recorded a tutorial yesterday, but there was a huge stupid mistake in what I did, mainly because of this. I was using, and I did not see this at first, I was using a spherical projection, and I did not see that the projection was spherical because I was projecting on this cylinder on the inside of this circular wall, and the picture I've been using for the projection don't have a nice and clean limit on the right and left borders, so I didn't see the mistake that I will show you right now by changing the projected picture. So I'm gonna use this one. Okay, so here I think that you can better see that the projection is correct at the top and at the bottom, only because I am projecting on a circular plane. But if you take a closer look here on the vertical side, you can see that the vertical is not aligned. There's kind of a curve here, and that's no good. So I'm gonna take it back from the beginning, and I will add a little gift at the end. So let me remove this Octane light, so I will create a new one. So there's a little light from the background which is coming from the environment. Here on the color, it is not set to 0, it is set to 3 actually, and that's why we can see a little silhouette from the elements on the scene. So I'm gonna create an Octane light, a tiny square Octane light, and on the modification panel I will set the light to a very small size, 0.005 centimeters, and the power of 1 is okay for now. So actually right now the light is sending a bright white light, but from the distribution map you can add what I will call a kind of a filtering. So if you add an RGB image on this distribution slot, now the projected light is black because I didn't choose any picture right now. So I will drag the RGB image from here to my slate material editor in a new view as an instance. So I'm gonna change by double clicking on the RGB image here. I will click on the file name, so now I can choose a picture. Okay, so we can see that the picture is now projected all around the front side of the light, from left to right and bottom to top, and we need to resize this projection, this image map. So we can use a 2D transformation which is already connected down here on the, where is it? Yeah, on the UV transformation. UV transform will take the picture and transform it before it is used by the Octane engine, before it's used by the light effectively on the distribution channel. So by default, when you load an RGB image on the distribution channel of the light, you will get a 2D transformation, but you can change it to a 3D transformation that will gives you more control over what you can get. So for now I will keep the 2D and I will change it later. First I need to scale my picture. So there are two parameters here, which are U and V, or X and Y. So I can scale my picture to have the right ratio and the right size. So I can do it here. Let's say I will first use a scale of 0.16 and 0.09. And here we can see the picture is repeating. So I'll go back to the RGB image parameters, and in the border mode down here I will change from wraparound to black color. That means the sides, four sides, right, left, up, top and down of the picture won't be repeated, but will be replaced with a black color. So now I have my projection on the cylinder. So first I will move this screen, which is just a plane that I've created. So let me put this screen right here on the front of the room. And as you can see, well, my picture is too big and the light is not aligned with the screen, so I'll put the light on the center of the screen. Okay, so it looks quite good, but it is not. Actually, as you can see, the top and the bottom of the picture are there is a little curvature here on both sides, and this is because of the projection we are using. There is actually no projection here on the projection slot of the image. That means that the image is simply projected in the I think it's the Y direction of the object. So clicking here on no map, I will use a perspective projection, and now from the perspective parameters here, the coordinate space I'm using is the coordinate space from the object the texture, the image is applied on. So the picture is applied as a parameter on the light, so the picture is now using a perspective point of view from the object, the light coordinates. And inside the plane transformation attribute, I will use a 3D transformation. Okay, so here it is. So from here, the first thing you will need to do is rotate the first value of rotation to -90, and this will align the projection, the perspective projection, with the light. And now you can see that the projection is nice and clean, and it is really let's say orthogonal or isometric. The top and the bottom are making a nice line, and the verticals are clean too. So what you can do now also on the projection transformation is scaling again. So one thing I will do is go back to this transformation, and let's play with the translation. So as you can see, I can move the picture up and down and right and left. This is positioning the picture inside a virtual big bitmap zone. We will need this in a couple of seconds. And back to the 3D transformation, I will just show you that you can use the last scale parameter, the Z, to simulate a kind of a zoom, like if you are zooming the picture in and out. Okay, so now let's say that my projector, my video projector, my projection point is at the top of the screen. So I'm moving the light and aligning the top of the light on the top of the screen. So now my picture is not centered on the screen, and I could try to make the translation. I will go back here in this one and put 0 here, so the picture is centered. On this perspective transformation, I can try to move the picture up and down, but as you will see, if I move the picture down from this translation point, as you will see, the top of the picture is now curved. So this is not the right parameter that we will need to use to center the picture after we have moved the projection point. Let's say the projection point is upper, the light is over the top of the room. I will set back this transformation to those translations to 0, 0 and 0, and I will translate the picture from this transform, this 2D transform. Here with this Y transformation, I can move the picture up and down and right and left also, and as you can see, the picture will stay, the borders will stay nice and clean. And that's what I wanted to achieve at first. And one last thing I would be able to achieve is rotating the projector and having the right projection. So I want the projected picture to move with the light. So the light is actually there, so let me put a wall here, and I will turn my view like that. So I will select again my light, which is there on top. I will rotate the light to the right, and as you can see, the projected picture is moving. The orientation is still oriented with the position of the light, and we can move the transformation to set the picture on the right position right there. So that's what I wanted to achieve at first, and now this is okay. So last thing we can do is check if the image is blurry or not. If the image is blurry, that means that your light is too big. Here from the light parameters, if I try alpha centimeter in length and alpha centimeter in wide, as you can see, the image is blurry because the light is emitted from a bigger surface. So you'll need to be careful and keep a very small resolution here for the size of the emitting plane light, and the smaller the light, the sharper the picture. Right, and now just a little gift that wasn't in the first and wrong tutorial I recorded yesterday. How can I see the light coming out from the projection point? Well, I will show you in a second. Here it is. As you can see, the projected light is visible in the atmosphere. So how do I did this? It's quite simple, in fact. Let me use the compact material editor. Okay, so I will take it from the beginning. I will create an Octane daylight. If I set the daylight from the top here, and if my light has a power of, let's say, 10 or 1, as you can see, the scene is lit by the daylight. So what I want, if I want to keep the room closed with no daylight coming from the outside, so I can do two things. First, I can move the sun right down here, like if the sun is emitting light from the other side of the earth. And I can also turn here the power of the light here. I can turn it all the way down to 0.001. So now there's quite no light emitted from the sun. So just put the sun down here and there will be no light from outside. And on the medium slot, I will add a scattering map. Okay, here it is. So now the render is completely black, and I will drag the scattering here into an empty slot as an instance. And we have different parameters here. So the first one is the density. If you use a lower value, you will see that we are getting more and more light. Okay, so let's keep a density at, let's say, 20. I will go back to my light, my projection light parameters, and I will use a higher power of, let's say, something like, I don't know, 8. All right, now we will first change the scattering. So you can use a scattering color. Actually, scattering means that the value of the color actually is 0. That means that there is no scattering. The light is not intercepted by the medium, by the atmosphere. If you use just some more, if you use a higher value, it will mean that the atmosphere will catch some of the light. And the higher the value and the higher the atmosphere will catch the light until it catches actually everything. So you can use this parameter as a color, or you can use this parameter as a simple value. If you use a color, you can actually use a distinct color. Let's say it to the red. So as you can see, most of the red is catched by the atmosphere, and the light which is not catched by the atmosphere, by the scattering, is sent to the screen. If I use a blue color, as you can see, yellow and red are projected on the wall. So this can be a nice effect. Also, you can set the absorption. that's how much of the light will be, let's say, diffused inside the atmosphere. The higher value, the less distribution you will get. So this is the absorption. Sorry. Yes, it is. This is the absorption, and you can use a value, you can use a texture, or perhaps you can use a noisy texture map, something like that, a noise texture, and with the right scale and the right with the right values you can get something nice. So I didn't try, actually I didn't try it on this scene, so I don't know what are the values that could be used here in this noise channel, but let's keep it simple with a value, and well, let's use an absorption of let's say 0.40. Then here it is. We can see the projected light from the projector. So this will require many samples to get a clean picture, and this scattering atmosphere is also creating some hotspots. So you can use the hot pixel removal from the camera to remove some of the hotspots. I don't like to use the hot pixel removal with a value lower than 0.75. If I need to remove more hot pixels, it means that there is something wrong in the scene I'm working on. So I will try to render just this part of the picture. We are actually at 25,000 samples, and that's what this scene needs. Something really high. There is another thing you can do to get less a less noisy rendering here is the global GI. Where is this parameter? I have lost the global GI value. Here, down here, from path tracing, the GI damp. So it is set to a very, very high value of actually 1 million. So if you set it down to let's say 5, you will more quickly get a nice render, less details in the reflections of the light, everything in the room, but you will have many it will remove many of the hotspots you could have without this. So I'm turning the hotspot removal to 1, and as you can see, there are actually no real hotspots there on the picture. I will use higher max samples here, let's say 10,000. Let me just use this size on the rendering to show you the details. Actually 1000 samples, and I will quickly render this region, and I will stop it at something like 10,000. Here we are. So I think it's okay like that. So I hope you liked this tutorial, and don't forget to click on the like button on YouTube and subscribe to the channel if you want to have more tutorials about 3D and motion design. And don't forget to send me a comment about perhaps my English. Perhaps tell me if you think that I'm making it correctly, not going too fast or too slow. Just give me some comments, and I will read every one of the comments carefully. Thank you very much. See you soon. Bye.